Harvey York's Rise to Power. Chapter 8. Harvey initially wanted to say something, but when he saw Howard's behavior, he shook his head and did not say anything. Instead, he walked to Shirley's side and said, "Shall we go together? I'm afraid there'll be trouble later." This? Shirley hesitated a bit. She did have a good relationship with Harvey during college, but obviously, Howard was the main character tonight. If she left now, would she not offend Howard? On the other hand, when Howard saw that Harvey was still there and even hooked up with a beautiful classmate, Shirley, his face darkened. He stared at him. "Harvey, it's fine if you don't get out. Now you still want to take our beautiful classmate with you. Who do you think you are? Are you a successful person? Don't forget, you are a live-in son-in-law, and we feel ashamed to have a classmate like you." "That's right. All our classmates are doing so well. You are a disgrace. Hurry up and get out." "Surely he's a live-in son-in-law. You must not be fooled by him." Howard was the main character tonight. These classmates had been in society for a few years. They were not that capable, but were all very good at flattering. At this moment, they were all insulting Harvey wantonly. Harvey frowned. If it was not for the fear that Shirley would get into trouble later, he did not want to say anything more. Meanwhile, Howard saw Harvey still not leaving and felt that he was losing face. He took out a bank card and threw it on the dining table. He sneered, "Waiter bill, please. If someone does not give up, then I shall let him see that he could never afford this meal in a lifetime." Many people gasped after seeing Howard's movements. Silver card. Only people with more than 1 million assets could apply for it. They never thought that Howard had such an accomplishment at a young age. Appearance could be deceptive. On the other hand, Harvey was poor and was a loser. How could the gap between two people be so big? Sure enough, even Wendy could not help but look at Howard several times when she saw this silver card. It seemed that this guy was quite capable. Howard was delighted when he saw the beauty's approving eyes. He stared at Harvey and continued, "No, I suddenly changed my mind again. Waiter, let's go Dutch tonight. One for his share and the rest will be on me. Please help me separate the bill into two." The waiter nodded and went down. Shirley felt bad for Harvey at this moment. Would it not be better if he had left just now? The meal for tonight was estimated to be tens of thousands, and the average consumption per person would be more than 1,000. Could Harvey afford the bill? Shirley sighed when she thought about this. She quietly took out her bank card. She had to help settle the bill for Harvey, so as not to embarrass him. At this moment, the waiter who was holding the card and a man who seemed to be the manager walked quickly into the private room. The waiter bowed at Howard with an apologetic look and said, "Sir, I'm sorry, the balance in your card is insufficient." Howard was stunned for a moment. He then said furiously, "Are you joking? I still have millions in my card. How could you tell me that the balance is insufficient?" "Yes, sir, I'm sorry. The meal for tonight was about $1.8 million. You still have to pay $1.7 million after deducting this gentleman's share." Puffed. Harvey almost burst out laughing when he heard the number. It seemed impolite. This Howard was indeed a douche. Although no one knew about the 2 bottles of wine that the waiter had brought up, Harvey did know about it. It was the famous Eden 13, a French original royal wine, with a retail price of around $800,000. Howard had ordered 2 bottles just now, and the price was already over $1.6 million. Howard was shocked. He pointed at the waiter and said, "Are you kidding me? We have less than 20 people here. How could we almost spend about $2 million? Bring your manager here. I want to see how corrupt your hotel is." The waiter sighed. He had already expected that. He then stepped back and said, "This is our manager." "Great!" Howard shouted while staring at the neatly dressed manager in front of him. "Are you planning to quit your jobs? How could the consumption per capita be $100,000? Do you know who I am? My cousin is Don Zander." The manager was not in a hurry. He said slowly, "Sir, I am so sorry. The meal was about tens of thousands of dollars only. However, you ordered 2 bottles of the top French wine, Eden 13, just now. Each cost $880,000. So, you got to pay $1.76 million. It's approximately $1.8 million after adding up the meal. But since you are Mr. Zander's cousin, we have already rounded up the figure. Believe it or not, I'll kill you." Howard was so angry. He grabbed the manager's shirt. "How do you have a wine that costs over $800,000? Even if you do, I did not say I wanted such an expensive wine. I'll call the police." The manager calmed himself down and slowly whipped Howard's hand away. He had been in this position for several years. Thus, he had seen all kinds of people in 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐜 before. However, this was the first time that he had seen someone who had no money but still pretended to be rich. He said solemnly after taking a deep breath, "Mister, let me explain a few things to you. First, we have provided you the best wine that you requested. Second, our waiter wanted to remind you about the price twice, but you didn't care. Third, all these things are being recorded, so we have evidence. If you want to call the police, feel free to do it." Clap, clap. The manager clapped his hands gently after he finished his words. Boom! The door of the private room was kicked open. Several brawny men in undershirts rushed in. All of them were fierce and gruesome. When the security went to report to him just now, he already felt that someone would be causing trouble, so he had brought the bodyguards with him. Howard broke out in a cold sweat and shivered. He then gritted his teeth and said, "Where is your boss? I want to see your boss. You are running a black shop. So, do you mean that I opened a black shop?" A young man with a buzz cut was wearing a white shirt and holding 2 wrist balls in his hand. He walked in with a smile. He wore a pair of gold-framed glasses, looked daunting, but also evil at the same time. His appearance made people unconsciously gasp. The owner of Platinum Hotel, Tyson Woods, was considered one of the top individuals in 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐜. Platinum Hotel was one of his properties. Howard originally wanted to curse, but his sweat kept on dripping at this moment. This was Tyson Woods. He was a high-profile person. He did overdo it just now, saying that Don and Tyson were buddies. He knew that Don was nothing in front of Tyson. Howard was just a working-class lad. How dare he mess with Tyson? The manager said coldly after seeing the boss arrive. "Mister, you have a silver card and also holding an Audi car key. I guess you are not someone who can't afford the bill. You asked for the best wine yourself and wanted 2 bottles at a time. Now, you refuse to pay for it." "No, I don't dare to do that," Howard said quickly. We'll pay the bill." He looked at his classmates asking for help while talking. He only had over $1 million left on his card. This was the entire fortune that he had worked hard for over the past few years. He even bought the Audi through installment loans. How could it be possible for him to take out $2 million himself? The classmates who were flattering him just now were all looking in other directions. You wanted to show off and asked for the most expensive wine just now. What do you mean? Now you want us to help you pay? Impossible. Tyson immediately saw through their thoughts. He slowly walked over and patted Howard's face twice. He then said, "Boy, if you don't have money, don't pretend to be rich. Keep a low profile, okay?" Yes. You don't have to pay for the bill tonight," Tyson smiled. "But with one condition. Please say it. Please. I'll do my best," Howard said with a pleading expression. Tyson smiled wickedly. "Let her and her accompany me." His gaze swept across Wendy and then fell on Shirley. These 2 girls, one was sexy and the other was pure.